Many of the how-to videos you may have seen have shown that in order to replace the flush valve in a two-piece toilet, you have to remove the tank to replace the flush valve. However, that is not the case in a one-piece toilet. Replacing the flush valve is done directly through the top of the tank. You will know if you need to replace the flapper and or the flush valve if you see water trickling in to the bowl, or you hear the tank periodically filling up on its own in order to replace water that has leaked into the bowl. The one-piece toilet that we will be using for this demonstration is an American Standard Savona 1.6 gallons per flush, model numbers 2095 and 2097. Fortunately, I have the instruction manual which came with the toilet. It has the names of the components along with their corresponding part numbers, so I ordered the parts that I needed directly from American Standard by calling the customer service number listed in the manual. You can also type the part name and number into Google and come up with multiple online vendors who sell these same factory installed parts. If you don't have the instruction manual, you can get the brand name off the toilet itself and research the parts on the internet. Now let's talk about replacing the flapper and or the flush valve in this one-piece toilet. This is the new flush valve assembly. The flapper can be ordered separately or purchased separately and is easily removed from its hinges on the side here. So before you replace the entire flush valve assembly, you might want to see if you just need a new flapper, and that might solve the leaking problem. If that doesn't solve the problem, then it probably means that the flush valve is leaking around this rubber gasket that comes in contact with the porcelain inside the toilet. So that will mean that you will have to replace the entire flush valve assembly. In order to replace the flush valve assembly, you will need a special plastic wrench like this. This wrench comes with the new flush valve assembly, but it can also be purchased or ordered separately. This wrench is used in conjunction with a 3/8 inch ratchet wrench attached to a 3-inch extension. This ratchet wrench is inserted into the special wrench, plastic wrench, like that. And it can be turned clockwise to tighten and counterclockwise to loosen. This plastic wrench has grooves, 4 grooves around the circumference. These grooves line up with fins inside the flush valve assembly. You will see them when we do this. And in order to remove the old flush valve, you insert this wrench and turn counterclockwise to loosen it. Once it's loosened, you can lift it out and remove it. Then you change the wrench to clockwise, put in the new flush valve assembly, and turn clockwise to tighten it. Now we're going to go about replacing the flush valve assembly in this toilet. However, before you replace the entire assembly, you might want to see if just tightening the one that's already in there will solve the leak. So in order to get to the flush valve, you turn off the water down here with this valve and then flush the toilet. The water will come out, but the toilet will not refill because there's no water in the tank. First you want to remove this overflow tube, and then you want to remove the flappers from the old flush valve. And then you want to put the wrench set to a loosening down in the, first I'm going to see if I can tighten it at all. Okay, it's already tight, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it out. Loosen it up. This is the old flush valve assembly which has been removed, and you can see it's kind of cruddy around the edge. So before we replace the new flush valve assembly, we're going to wipe off the porcelain seat with a clean cloth. Make sure there's no crud. And put in the new flush valve assembly. First we got to remove the flapper so we can tighten it. And make sure it's seated in the center. And then we go back and get our wrench. And tighten it. It's tight now. Now we insert the flapper onto its hinges. And reinstall the pull chain onto the handle lever. Give it a little slack and put it into its catch. Now we reinstall the overflow tube into the top of the flush valve. And check everything. And then we turn the water back on. Check for leaks in the bowl of the toilet to make sure there's no streaming water, and flush the toilet again and check it again. Then replace the tank top and you should be good to go. Thanks for watching and good luck in replacing the flush valve assembly in your one-piece toilet.